Well, thank you, Chairwoman. Thank you, Speaker, for grabbing the box there. Gabe Evans, Colorado's 8th Congressional District, and I'm here today because of my resolution that passed the House yesterday with broad bipartisan support condemning the anti-Semitic firebombing terrorist attack that occurred in Boulder, Colorado, which is about 20 miles away from my house where I live. I'm here today because 15 people and a dog were burned by an individual with known jihadi-leaning affiliations who is illegally present in the United States and who was denied a firearm purchase when he tried to buy a gun in November of last year. And so, of course, the very first thing in this situation is our thoughts and our condolences, of course, go out to the victims and to the Jewish community that are suffering from this rising anti-Semitism. But more than that, we have to ask ourselves, why? Why is this happening? Thoughts and condolences aren't enough. And for me, that's personally very meaningful because of my background. I spent 12 years in the U.S. Army. I deployed overseas to a combat zone as part of the global war on terror when my oldest son was 5 months old. I didn't get back until he was 18 months old. I missed every first steps, first words, first Christmas, first birthday. Then I served another 10 years in law enforcement with the city of Arvada, which is a major suburb just to the west of Denver, immediately south of Boulder, Colorado. I've responded as both a National Guardsman and as a police officer to previous tragedies in Boulder, Colorado. And so for me to now wake up on June 1st and see this tragic event that's happened, of course, thoughts and condolences, but we have to do more. We have to ask the question, why does this continue to happen? We've already gone over the facts of the case here. An individual legally present in the United States overstayed 2 separate visas with known public statements prior to his admission into the United States, sympathizing with an organization with jihadist-leaning tendencies, at a time of heightened anti-Semitism, goes and he tries to buy a gun last November, is denied, and that doesn't pop up on anyone's radar. There's no ability to intervene or interdict or at least figure out what's going on here, put this to a little bit more scrutiny. As a cop and a soldier for 22 years, I know that we should be doing that. That was literally the point of the 9/11 Commission after the September 11th terrorist attacks, which says that to be able to identify and intervene before terrorism occurs in the United States, federal, state, and local law enforcement need to be able to share information. We need to have all of the pieces of the puzzle together, and when some of those reside with local law enforcement, state officials, and federal authorities, if they cannot share that information, then we're trying to put together a puzzle without all of the pieces, and that makes it difficult to be able to identify and intervene before these attacks happen. And unfortunately, in my Colorado, which is a sanctuary state that prohibits at times state and local law enforcement from being able to work with federal authorities, I can't help but wonder if this attack might have been prevented had the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, which is who does the background checks for firearm purchases in Colorado, had they been able to flag that for one of the multiple different entities that have been set up to share that information and prevent something like this from happening. So that is the point of the resolution that I brought last night, which, I would remind everyone, passed with broad bipartisan support. It's been said that this is politicizing a tragedy. Blatantly false. This is a tragedy that occurred because of failed politics. And so thoughts and condolences are important, but they are not enough. And so the same way I did for 22 years in the military and law enforcement, seeking solutions, elevating the conversations that make our communities safe, that is the point of the resolution last night. And to be personally attacked by the minority leader of the other party for elevating that conversation when 75 of his own members stood with me, that is the politicization of a tragedy. And so from the bottom of my heart to the Jewish community, we stand with you. From the bottom of my heart to Americans and to Coloradans who right now are suffering from the second most dangerous state in the country, we are focused on solutions to prevent things like this from happening again. And to my Democrat colleagues, including Representative Neguse, who stood with me and voted for this resolution last night, thank you. Thank you for helping to elevate this conversation that is focused on solutions to make sure that we keep our communities safe and that we, in no uncertain terms, condemn anti-Semitic attacks, and that we thank the law enforcement officials who are working so tirelessly to keep us safe from all of the bad folks that are out there and that do have malicious intent to cause harm to Americans, to Coloradans, and unfortunately to the Jewish community. Thank you so much. Yield back.